Spatchcock Funk is in the house, our house, and your house too. You know where the party's at? Wherever you're at. We're gonna teach you how to throw the best parties, the best dinners, the best get-togethers. All you need is the people you love, and we'll take care of the rest. Spatchcock Funk. Dope food, strong drinks, great stories. At the Funk, dark necessities are part of our design. As we grew this thing, man, we've been inspired by a lot of things, and a lot of them are from the Mecca of food, partying, arts, and culture, the city of New Orleans. Our style, like that city, is a super mashup mixtape of different styles, a cultural collision course that made us, well, us. We love to dress up or dress down, get deep and spiritual or keep it light. The jokes, that is, not the booze. So tonight, we're having a seance and bringing out the ghosts, throwing on some style and topping it with some mystery and intrigue. We've got a sea of sexy people that are more than interesting, and we're going way down the rabbit hole. So Alice, buckle up. You're about to see how far that hole really goes. We've experienced the weird, the macabre, and seen the sunrise popping bottles or popping aspirin, and tonight, we're just popping off. And here's the spooky part. You want something existential and a party that truly transcends the day-to-day. So get you some masks, some fire libations, and bring the old school and new school together, and turn on your will to be weird. We're conjuring up some magic tonight. This is the Voodoo Masquerade. This is an honorific to the mighty French Quarter of New Orleans. One of the more popular drinks, started at Pat O'Brien's, but served everywhere, is the Hurricane. Our version, the Crossfire Hurricane, because we use a couple different juices in it. But get yourself an iced up shaker, and we're gonna start out by putting 2 ounces of light rum in it. We got this little elixir type thing, like we're making a magic potion, because it's getting real in the French Quarter. Then 2 ounces of dark rum. We're gonna add in 2 ounces of passion fruit juice, the type you get out of a juice box maybe. We're also gonna put in 1 ounce of orange juice, no pulp, and then 1 ounce of freshly squeezed lime juice. We always wanna use fresh stuff when we can. It's when it comes to lemons and limes. Then we got 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. Get a little sweetness to it. And then 1/2 ounce, about a teaspoon, a little bit more, of grenadine. Then we shake it up. The traditional Hurricane glass, like almost an hourglass shape, you know what I mean? Like that's a good looking glass, y'all. But it's perfect for what we're doing because it looks cool. So we're gonna pour this beautiful concoction over the top. And how we garnish it is with 1 bright red cherry and an orange. Watch out, Voodoo Masquerade party. There's a storm coming, y'all. The Crossfire. Hurricane. That's good. Yeah, we got one of my favorite things in the world. Oysters, y'all. The mighty, mighty Char-Grilled Oyster. Now, there are legends about this stuff. There's a restaurant owner in New Orleans who, during the parade, when people are throwing out beads, my man is grilling char-grilled oysters and throwing them in the crowd. That's the type of reaction this dish gets, and that's what we're making today. The first thing we're gonna need, though, are some oysters. So we've got some beautiful Wellfleets here, and we're gonna talk about how to open them. What you want is an oyster knife, right? This is one of my favorite ones. It's been through the mix a little bit. We're gonna take an oyster, and you can take any type of cloth, like a towel I typically use, but some people will use napkins, and roll it so it's pretty tight, because you want to be able to get your hand pretty firmly around the oyster itself so it doesn't slip away on you. Get it pressed on the ground and take the end of your knife, and then the back is a hinge. So you want to drive it in and pop it like that, and then bang, you've got it all set up. So we're just going to move it around the top of the edge. And there we go. Shucking crazy, y'all. When we're gonna char grill these, we're not gonna unhook the oyster itself from its little crevice. It's got like a little neck that connects to it because we want it to stay firm on the grill. But if we're making it raw, we would do that, and then we eat it like this. The best thing ever, raw oysters. We're gonna shuck the rest of these and get everything else going. We've got some melted butter mixed with some extra virgin olive oil, some fresh oregano, garlic, and black pepper. And we're gonna stir it up and get some of that beautiful goodness and drizzle it onto each one of our beautiful stirs, babe. Oys, not lobs. You can put a couple slices of shaved Parmesan on top. Then we add a little bit of parsley now, a little bit after, so you'll have the darker green from it being grilled up and then a brighter green afterwards. Really make the color pop. Now just throw them on the grill, babe. Let's do it. Yes, we got them off the grill, all charred up nice, got that cheese melted. We're gonna garnish it with a little bit more of the fresh parsley. Like the cheesy good part on there too. Char-grilled oyster, baby. That's what's up. Yo, if you want to make history at a party, you need a historic location. So we're checking one out. Part of my history, I got married here. Let's see if it fits the vibe.
Sandwich on bank rolls, lettuce that I can't fall. If I ain't getting to the queso, know what I came for.
Joe, what's up, man?
Hey, welcome, guys.
What's up, dude?
Hey, thanks for coming down. Happy to have you here.
Dude, we're glad to be here. So listen, we're throwing a Voodoo Masquerade. So we like the New Orleans, like, cool vibe.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the coolest places we have available. You know, it's one of the most historic buildings right here downtown.
We need it to be a little elegant, though. People are gonna be dressed up, full suits, masks, and a little mysterious.
It's pre-Prohibition era. Elegant enough for you?
Oh, I think so. I don't know if you can handle that, though.
Prohibition's not for me, but you know what I mean? I'm here to drink and party.
We stopped smuggling barrels decades ago.
Well, that part, I'm down with the barrels. I'm down with that.
Well, I mean, if you're interested in a little mystery too, we have that covered as well.
Whoa, whoa, are we talking like ghosts?
We're talking about multiple ghosts.
What?
Man, are we okay?
Oh, you want to go say hey? They're waiting for you.
No.
Yes.
Let's go, guys.
Dude, you got married here. You didn't know there was ghosts?
I did, but I pretended they weren't there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they said they sent a card.
You're about to see a part of the landmark a lot of people don't get to see, and this is where all the mystery begins.
I think this is a closet. He's tricking us.
Back in the day, in order to keep this building operating and maintained, we actually had to have somebody live here. And the guy that lived here, his name was Charles, known to many as Chuck, and he had a little dog that roamed around with him as well. And this is actually the apartment he lived in.
Oh, wow.
You know what?
Looks like your college dorm.
I mean, it's a little cleaner.
It smells a little better.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, we may not use the original generator to power the building, but we do still use our 2 original boilers to heat the building. These 2 big girls were installed first, and then the construction was built around it. Now, I told you boys earlier about how we would participate in some illegal activities, smuggling barrels through the Prohibition era.
Sure.
Well, with an illegal business, sometimes you have to take illegal actions to those that don't follow suit. So, reported but never really documented, this was the disposal, and some would call it the judge, jury, and this is our executioner right here.
Man, that's terrifying.
That's super terrifying.
That's theater.
How far, like, are we from the street right now?
What street?
We're, like, way down there, man.
Yeah.
But I will say we got a lot more of the theater to show you guys. In case you want to check it out, that makes sure it works for your event.
Yo, hold on, guys. Guys?
Don't worry about it, man. I'm sure he'll find us.
I'm not worried. He's a big boy.
Yeah, there's only 2 of us here.
Yeah, we'll see him at the party.
But anyways, I want to just end the tour right here with one of our most famous areas of the theater, and that is where our famous ghost Clarissa passed away. There's a lot of written document about her and a lot of reported sightings of her. And it all started with her husband, who was an electrician, at the end of the evening was removing some cabling and doing some lighting, and unfortunately became exposed to the cabling underneath and started to be electrocuted right here on this stage.
Right here.
Now, what they didn't know is that his wife, who was a contracted performer and dancer, was waiting up in the balcony right where he is, And in
are you
a
doing?
panic, she fell over the railing and unfortunately passed away right here on landing in our main auditorium.
Where'd you go?
Well, I feel her pain because I'm panicking right now, man. I haven't seen you guys in like a year, I feel
Be
like.
careful up there, buddy.
Yeah, definitely be careful and do me a favor and take the stairs on the way down and not the fast route.
Got that.
Well, I guess we better go grab them.
Now, jambalaya. This has a special place in our heart. Hopefully it's gonna have a special place in your belly. One of my favorite dishes ever, and the first thing that Alex and I ever made when we shot with a camera. Today, we're cooking 6-wing jambalaya. But I learned this dish, man, in the mighty city of New Orleans from a couple of different people, different chefs, a cooking class actually I took on it, and there's a wild story about jambalaya. New Orleans is this massive mashup of all these different cultures, right? You got pirates, you got the French, you got all sorts of Spanish stuff in there. It's crazy. So jambalaya, actually, the story that we got was jambo was a phrase meaning rice. So the slave masters would just make rice and give it to the slaves. And occasionally, they would throw their table scraps into the rice, right? So jambalaya meant rice with a gift, but it was like a divisive name, like a middle finger to the slave masters. So instead of that, what they happened to do was the slaves made their own version of it and reclaimed it and kind of made it theirs. So to me, man, this is a rebellious, badass dish that should be eaten at all times. 6-wing jambalaya, y'all. So named because there's 3 birds and 6 wings. Turkey kielbasa, chicken andouille. We also have a roasted duck. So we took a whole duck, covered it with butter, Cajun seasoning, and roasted it and reserved all the fat drippings. So the rice, the grain part of this, the starch part of the jambalaya has gotta work, man. We make one that's good enough to eat on its own. And here's how we do it. We put in a little bit more than 2 whole amber beers. We're gonna put in a couple cups long grain white rice. Stir it up a little bit for some color. We're gonna throw in a bunch of fresh cut parsley and obviously butter because obvs, duh. Then a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. Heat it up. We want to get it to a boil, then we're going to lower it to a simmer for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, back to the party. Get yourself a big frying pan. We're going to heat a little bit of butter over that. If you want depth of flavor, season as you go. You can see us do that with the veggies. But first, let's just get some of that little kielbasa turkey fat up in here. It's gonna brown this so we crisp up both sides, and then we're gonna remove it. All right, we're sufficiently browned. I see some fat up in this pan. So we're gonna have a big mixing bowl we're gonna put everything into when it's ready. Each step we're adding into it. So all the grease and the kielbasa, we're gonna put in there. We're gonna get our stove down to medium, and here's where things get real, y'all. What we've got to get the flavor up in this thing is that rendered duck fat. So the first thing we're gonna do is get some of that fat in the pan. It's gonna cook all the veggies in this fat, and it's gonna really just transcend this dish into the next level. So get a good level of that, because what we're making now is what's referred to as the Holy Trinity, the Trinity of cooking in New Orleans. And that is peppers, celery, and onion. And actually, the way we see it and the way we were taught, the Pope in the Holy Trinity, garlic. We're gonna put a bunch of garlic up in this thing. Get it fragrant. Once that's going, we're gonna toss in our onions. Every time we add in a new veggie, every time, we're gonna hit it with some of the duck fat, and then a little bit of our Cajun seasoning. Next, celery, y'all. A couple stalks of that, baby. Duck fat, Cajun seasoning. Stir it. Okay, one more round, and we're going at it now. Green peppers. For the green bell peppers, we got a red bell pepper too. We like the color, especially with the jambalaya, the way it goes. So again, one more time. Hit that duck fat. A little more Cajun seasoning. Now you're just gonna cook this until it cooks down and add it in with your other meat that we just cooked. Got our meat in our big mixing bowl. Next, the rice. All that beer, beautiful goodness in this rice we're gonna put in there too. Then this beautiful big bunch of Cajun duck fat veggies. That's gonna go in there too. Every bite gets a bunch of that. Chicken andouille. We also throw in the shredded duck. So there's 3 things in the world you should be shredding: duck, guitars, and skateboards. So we're gonna stir this up. We're gonna toss in a little bit of hot sauce. See how we do? I want a little bit of each piece of meat on that thing. We're gonna take this, throw some green onions on it, and serve it to the people, baby. The third course today, baby, our dessert course. But actually, it's also a breakfast course too, or a lunch course for that matter. And I'll tell you about all three in a second. But we're making beignets, y'all. Famous in the city of New Orleans. And it's a great little sweet treat, some powdered sugar. We're gonna put some other little sweet treats on top of that. It's a great way to start your day, to end your dinner, late night snack. Our boy, DJ Pastry Paul, may he rest in peace. A good man, great guy to party with. And he's actually our boy Jared's dad. He would actually make these beignets and then make sandwiches out of them with pulled pork, apple compote. I mean, just straight fire. A donut sandwich. So basically the beignet is a square donut. And we want to start first by activating some yeast. So we're going to take 2/3 of a cup of sugar, a cup and a half of warm water. The warm water should be 110 degrees or so. Then a packet of active yeast. Whisk it together and then set it aside for 10 minutes, maybe longer. It's gotta get foamy and bubbly. We're gonna get the dough started. We got 2 eggs. We're gonna beat them with our paddle mixer. Next, we're gonna add in 1 cup of evaporated milk and 2.5 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract, y'all. Then we're gonna make sure that's evenly mixed. All right, we've got 3.5 cups of bread flour. That particular flour is important. Now we're gonna mix this again until it's evenly mixed. Our dough's looking pretty strong. Our yeast, looking pretty yeasty. Yeasty beastie. So we're gonna add this in, slowly mixing it, and be careful, it'll splash a little bit. So do that over low. By a little bit, I mean a lot. Keep going until it's evenly mixed up and you're adequately splashed. All right, we're pretty smooth in there. So now, I mean, we're smooth everywhere for that matter. We're gonna add in 5 tablespoons of room temperature butter. Then we're gonna keep beating that until that's smooth too. So this might take a minute or two. Our butter mixed in. 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and then another 3.5 cups of that bread flour. I'm gonna lower my gear here. And we're gonna beat this pretty solidly for a few minutes until it really starts to form into a big ball of dough. All right, we got this big mighty ball of dough. We are gonna get it off of our paddle attachment. Then we're just gonna tightly cover it with some plastic wrap and throw it in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Coming out of the box hot, but out of the fridge cold. 2 hours, our big dough ball is ready. Get it onto our surface. Get your dough ready. We're gonna roll it out to about 1/4 inch thick. They're gonna be kind of thin, but they're gonna puff up when we fry them. Now we're gonna make about 2 by 2.5 inch-ish rectangles. And we're just gonna cut them all out into our little squares and get ready to fry them. Get our oil to around 350, 360, somewhere in that neighborhood. Get ready to dip them for 3 minutes. Yo, we got these beignets out of here and they are looking right. Now to decorate these things, dress up, we got a dress up party going on, y'all. Take a little bit of powdered sugar and just get a little bit of it on there so every part gets a little bit of that beautiful confectioner's sugar goodness. Now we're gonna drizzle it too. We've got some chocolate syrup and we are gonna zigzag some chocolate syrup over the top of it. Now we're gonna opposite zigzag the peanut butter. And now we've got something ridiculously beautiful dressed up for the party. Let's check these pillows out. Beignet, baby.
Matt, what is the wildest thing you've done in New Orleans?
I'm actually dying to know this.
It's a great question. Without any police involved or anything like that.
Because we know you're a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Stuff you can tell.
Good,
Okay?
fun trouble. Things that are at least like PG, right?
Yes,
Okay.
always.
I have one though that gets a little scary actually.
Ooh.
So I was in New Orleans with Stephanie and she had like a business trip. So I tagged along just to like do some field research and do what you do. So I'm bouncing around during the day and having oysters and drinks and living the
one
life.
does.
So I dip into this Voodoo shop, right? And I'm gonna buy some holy water, see if I can get some of the curses removed off me and kind of like, get
Are
back
you
to
sure you're cursed?
get back to even. I mean, I don't feel like cursed right now, but we'll see how it goes tomorrow. While I'm shopping, I hear a voice behind me, and it's the woman that runs the shop, and she's like, "This isn't your first time." And I'm like, "First time what, girl?" No, I was just like, "Oh no, I've been here like 10 times." So she's like, "All right, well, you probably need something different." And I'm like, "Okay." So she slides me a business card, and as she looks up at me and she smiles, and she's looking great, like super dressed up, has like 2 fangs. And I'm like,
What color were they?
the fangs were like pearly white. Like Colgate should make a commercial out of this. It was awesome. Like 5 out of 10 dentists, 10 out of 10 dentists, maybe a million dentists love this stuff. So she's like smiling and sparkling, and I'm like, okay. So she's like, go to this bar, and I see it. I'm like, I've been to that bar, and she's like, no, it's a vampire speakeasy. And I'm like, okay, right? That's what I did.
What now?
But wait.
So
there's
she
more.
hasn't seen, I haven't mentioned Stephanie at all. I was still wearing my wedding ring. And she's like, bring your wife. And I'm like, what do I do? And she's like, just go to the bar. And behind the bar, you're gonna see like a broken down door with like, it's gonna look bad. Go through that door. So she gets out, I'm like, listen, we're gonna go to this vampire speakeasy. And without explanation, she's like, let's go.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? You know her. She's
I
just
do. Stephanie's always game.
ready to rock. So we go, we have a couple
Love
drinks at
her.
the bar, and there's the door, the portal, right? And it looks broken down, so I'm like, what do you think? I'm a little nervous, and she's like, let's go. So we dip under it, we're walking up the stairs, like rats are going by, there's like I don't know, man, it was foul.
Spooky.
So we get up there and open the door, and there's this marble staircase. Beautiful. Sunlight everywhere, a big oak red door, and we knock on it, and the door opens, and there's the girl from the voodoo shop.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she's like, we were expecting you, Matt and
she knew
Stephanie,
you were gonna
and knew our
come.
names, right? She knew we were gonna come. So,
But
they're-
how did she know your names?
right?
What?
They have 2 drinks, green absinthe and red absinthe. So the fairies are flying
hell?
around. I'm at red because I hadn't had it before, and I think I might have had like a prick of like vampire blood in it, but we're hanging out, and all of a sudden
Virgin's
we're surrounded
blood.
by all the vampires, right? They're dressed to the nines, like all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, are we dinner? I'm like, we should go, and Stephanie's like, this is awesome, and I'm like, I think we're on the menu. So we had one more drink because you might as well.
Might as
Duh.
well.
And then we politely left, and they're like, hey, you should stay. We're like, no, we gotta go. Had a nice dinner, and a couple days later, we're like, yo, we should go back. So we go back to the bar. The door, gone. And we're like, what? So it led to a great adventure.
Wait, like completely gone? Like the door is just gone, now it's just a wall?
Not like it's, oh, the door is closed and clean.
It's
There
just
was no
never
door.
there.
Yeah. So
Yes.
here's to weird things and making great times happen that never happen again.
Cheers to weird
Cheers to
stuff.
Weird stuff.
Weird.
From vampires to accountants, we've been blessed to raise them up and throw it down with people from all walks of life. And like Anthony Kiedis said, they walk it like they talk it. For all y'all, get weird. Try something new and try something different. Mask up, or finally, take that mask off and be you. Experiment in the kitchen, in the backyard, in the bedroom. Just stretch yourself. You know how we get down. We're about being creative and crashing cultures, real proper like. Get out of your comfort zone. That's where the real things go down. If you need some help with that, you know who to call. See you on the other side.
Ballers, real shot callers. Everybody on the team throwing up dollars. Ballers, with the jet globe trotter. Father gotta take with the real phone calling. Ballers, real shot callers. Everybody on the team throwing up dollars. Ballers, real shot callers. 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 Ballers, real shot callers.